right here needs a little attention. So what I'm going to do is just pull that into line. Nine times out of 10, if you have a problem on your edge, it's going to be on the heel. In fact, a lot of the older razors, when I get them in for restore, if you actually look at the edges before you start, you'll find that the heels, a lot of them, were never honed in. They just shaved them as best they could, honed them as best they could, and when we get them in and restore them and bring them back into line, a lot of times the heel needs a little bit more attention because we're actually honing the heel in. We're actually going to push the heel in. And remember, to us, this is more of a hobby than it is a daily chore, so we want everything perfect. Okay, we're going to build a finish into this now, so I'm going to get a nice little slurry going again. And why I'm doing that is I'm going to even out the edge. This is my standard finishing for a Coticule. It's exactly the way I use a Coticule to finish, almost on any time I use it. I use Coticules a lot on Sheffield razors. A little bit of a slurry. You're going to do what's called the pigtail stroke, thanks to the video from Liam the Barber. Nice light twists and turns. I want to even it up really nice. Probably the hardest thing to explain to people, you know, on these videos, and we're trying to explain it and typing and stuff, is how much pressure to put on there. You want to make sure the edge is nice and even as it comes across. You want to watch the slurry and or water being cut evenly as you come across on it. If you're not doing that, if you're applying so little pressure that that's not cutting evenly, you're really not sharpening the razor. So basically the rule of thumb is apply enough pressure to move the razor evenly across and no less. Sometimes we emphasize how light it is too much, and people start doing these feather light strokes and all the edges isn't even touching the razor, or all the edges isn't even touching the stone. That whole edge has to go. You want to keep everything nice and even. Consistency is the key here. Oh yeah, that was dilution, by the way. As I get closer and closer to clear water, I'm getting lighter and lighter on my finishing strokes. One, because you want a nice clean edge, and two, because you don't need any pressure anymore. The blade is nice and even, so it's sitting across the hone really nice. Each stroke is evening it up, evening it up, evening it up. And by the time you get to this level, your edge is so nice and even that it'll just undercut that water perfectly. And it's nice and sharp. One thing you want to be careful of, if you have a coticle that will produce slurry on its own, in other words without a slurry stone, just the razor going across it for these finishing strokes on clear water, if you start seeing white residue coming up on the blade, you want to, about every 3 to 4 strokes, dip. Now I do that out of habit anyway, because I want the cleanest edge I can possibly get. But the softer your coticle is, actually the softer any stone is, the more you want to dip and clear and get nice clean water. That'll give you your best edge. On most stones, I should clarify that. Certain Japanese stones you don't want to do that. But we're working a coticle, so. Nice, even, beautiful cutting. As clear as that arm hair, what little I have, just out of there. Okay, that one's done. That is a one stone honing with the coticle. And like I said, keep in mind, I know I used 2 stones, but this is a restore, so it needs the bevel set. If you didn't need to reset the bevel, it would be 1 stone. And tape comes off, and let's drop it in. Chromium oxide, cerium oxide. I use these Illinois A27s a lot of times for pasted strops. Just take the linen off and use 2 leathers. I have a few different ones. About 8 on the chromium is about what I usually do off of a coticle. Then somewhere around 12 on the cerium. About a 5100 count. about 100. I kind of lose count in there every now and then. Those just kind of just pop away. I hate hanging hair tests, but everybody seems to. If you notice, have you guys noticed on eBay now? It doesn't say shave ready anymore. The descriptions on eBay now say HHT ready, hanging hair test tested. It's amazing what eBay sellers do. Everybody thinks this means something. I need to do one of these with my hair and off the 1K just to prove a point. I'll do it next time. But it just slices away. I usually test in about three spots or so, just to make sure. But all that does is tell me that it needs to go for a shave test. Which I will do later. Shave test that one out. One stone honing on a conical. Bing bang boom, it's done. Again, I can't promise to be nice. Coticule stones are just like any other stone. One of the things I'm going to emphasize though is these razors, when you use one stone honing, I don't care what stone it is, the consistency is not at the same level. And a lot of times, if this was my razor, it's a different thing. I can come back and readjust it all I want. But when you start sending razors, not only across the country, but across the world, you can't have a 75% hit ratio. Your hit ratio has to be well into the 98-99%. Because if you're sending a razor all the way across the world and it doesn't shave properly, or if you've got 6 or 7 razors up here, which I'll have later tonight, and tomorrow morning I want to send them out, say for instance, and I go to test shave them and 4 out of 6 hit, the other 2 need to go back to the stones. For a professional, that's just not high enough consistency rate. For you guys that are just doing it for yourselves, that doesn't make a difference. You can take it back to the stone anytime you want. You don't need to worry about a consistency rate. So be careful of that with the one stone honing things, regardless of which stone it is. The consistency level just isn't above 80%. I haven't seen it above 80 yet. I'm getting better at it when I play with them. I don't use it except for demonstrations and things like that. Razors that are not heading out or something like that I can mess with. For everyday professional honing, going out, yeah, give me my Naniwas or my Shaptons or my Nortons. That's where I'm going to. I might finish on one of those, but I know the razor's ready then. You're in the 98, 99 even percent hit. So anyway, that's one stone honing on a Coticule. It's as easy as that. I didn't really count strokes. You guys can do that. I usually go in sets of 5 until I get it where I want. Once again, gssixgun. Thanks again. Bye.